I've come up with a concept for something that we have needed to add to the game for years. And only now, because we removed the ability to take banished souls and make crystals lower level, has it been brought to a priority. Banished souls, lowering crystals was quote-unquote our catch-up mechanic in the game for if you die and you need to recover and you don't have gear, etc. It was a very bad system. It didn't really do that, did it? I mean, no one in their right mind would be level 70, run out of gold, and then level the crystal down to level 30 and be happy to, like, pag in level 30 gear. I think for the most part, Banished Souls was used to make crystals easier because some loot don't scale. Like, for example, plating doesn't scale, ores doesn't scale. So, essentially, when you were level 100, it was just better to run level 30 vault for an ore run. You didn't need to run level 100. No, that's just crazy. And so anyway, it got removed for other reasons. It got removed mainly for the new crate system. It got removed so that we don't have the issues with crates being selectable, basically, because crates changed at level 50, and there's no reason for you to not do it. And yeah, it got removed for that reason. But anyway, it brought up the pain of, like, what do I do when I don't have enough gold to recover my body if I die? The answer is not to switch it to casual. That's not a good enough answer. Casual mode exists and people can choose to play on it or not. But that doesn't mean that normal mode should have any possibility of ever being able to softlock the gamer from being able to play the game on normal. I really think so. I think that it's important to understand the difference. If you don't want to lose your gear, and if you don't want to have this gold thing, then yes, you should play on casual. But if you're in a position where you want to play on normal, you want to have the gold thing, but maybe you get unlucky. Maybe you get 2 unlucky vaults where you die to something stupid. Maybe you overgreed twice. As you all know, Dylan, I am an enjoyer of greeding. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's fun to greed, and I incentivize greeding. I understand. If anyone, understand the pain of overgreeding. Use Warden Voltrox. Yeah, Warden Voltrox exist. We actually changed the recipe cost for these. They're actually like kind of free now because it's just vanilla resources. But that doesn't help the person who has died and lost all their money and is now naked. So, we need a new mechanic for this. We need to introduce something that helps. And there's been some talks in the dev Discord about this for a few days. And I basically looked at people's suggestions. Haven't really liked any of them. They have either been too complex or they have been too punishing in the wrong way. Now granted, there needs to be punishment in quotation, because otherwise there's no risk. Otherwise we're just always playing on casual. And so, yeah, there needs to be punishment, but there needs to be punishment in the right way. We need to think about things like, okay, what is the goal? Well, the goal is to encourage the player to continue to play, but get some sort of setback. So, here is my suggestion. It's time we create a proper, fun, engaging, and exciting catch-up mechanic. Because soft locking is not a good game design. It shouldn't exist. I'm going to name this suggestion my codename Davey Jones, because I am a pirate enjoyer, as you all know. It's probably not going to be the final name. We need to fit it in the Vault Hunter lore, but codename it's going to be Davey Jones. Okay. And here's what we're going to do. We will allow the player to go in debt. So meaning that they can recover their gold, they can go in debt to do so. And for as long as the player is in debt, all the vaults that they run, every single one, will have a curse. Let's call it Davy's debt. This curse is going to nullify all XP gain, so you won't get XP in your vaults. It's going to remove any chance of finding an artifact, and it's going to disallow the usage of vault fruit. However, and this is important, it will not alter the items that you find in the vault. It will not make them worse, like Banished Souls did. It will not lower item quantity. It will not lower item rarity. It won't touch loot at all. Because if it did, that's counterproductive. You're trying to get back into the game, And so having worse vaults, you can have worse vaults that punish you in the right way. For example, well, as long as you're in debt, you can't actually progress in the game. You can't actually gain levels. You can't gain artifacts. Now, you can go in debt as much as you want. You can die 50 times. And the only cost will be, if you go in debt, will be that you will be cursed. Your vaults will be cursed. There will be an interest rate on this debt. And this interest rate will exist solely to encourage you to get out of the debt. It will work something like this, and the numbers needs mathing, right? But something like this, it will be a low, very low interest rate. Let's say that you die and the cost of your body is 100 gold. I'm thinking 1% per vault. I'm thinking every vault you run, without paying your debt back, it will increase the cost with 1 gold. Now, this interest rate needs to always be lower than the amount of gold that you're able to realistically get from a normal unmodified vault run. And a normal unmodified vault run, an elixir or brazier run, gives you 7 to 10 gold. As I said, there needs to be some mathing here. But I think around 1% with a cap on it, to say like 1% cap, but never more than 10% of the total cost of your debt, of your original debt, I think is fine. The debt is not there to further softlock you. The debt is just there to encourage you to pay the debt back as soon as possible. Theoretically, you could run the rest of the game in debt. You will just always have this curse, and so you won't be able to complete the artifact puzzle, you won't get experience, and you can't use Vault Fruit, meaning you can't overgreed more. The whole point here, as I say, is the goal is to encourage people to continue to play, even when they're quote-unquote soft-locked. And this would remove the soft lock. This would make it so that there is no more soft lock, so that there is always a way to continue to game. I would also like to award a transmog set or a transmog item. Someone suggested in the dev Discord that it should be a shield, a cardboard shield. I think it was Aussie Crafter, that says, "Will vault for gold." When you get in debt, so you unlock like a transmog. So there's also a positive with getting in debt at least once. I've been thinking about this now for 2 days. I've been slowly deciding it in my brain head. And I think that it's a very good idea. I think so. I think that this is very clean. How would the curse work for vault parties? If you are in the vault, if you enter the vault, you bring the modifiers with you, Stin. Yeah. So on servers, it could be encouraged for your server mates to, loan you the money instead and help you. Couldn't this be used as a way to get vault materials at a permanent level? There is already a way for that, which is much better. Yes, it's called Plunderer's Pearl. Plunderer's Rock. This making the crystal not yield any experience and increasing the loot amount by 10% and ore generation by 25%. There is already a feature in the game that allows you to do that in a much better way. If we die at debt, can we get in debt again? Yes! Zero, very good question. If you die again, you can increase your debt. Yeah, yes sir. If you die again, you can increase your debt as much as you need in order to come back to the game. Okay, here's the thing we could do. We could also block you from entering greed vaults. Yeah, we could do that. So if you're in debt, you cannot run greed vaults. That's a great idea. So even if you're at level 100, you've completed the artifacts, you don't need experience. If you're in debt, you can't go into greed vaults. Oh, and also, I actually forgot to say this. Vendors and treasure rooms. No, not treasure rooms. What am I saying? Vendors and the shopping room, whatever it's called, the Omega room, would not appear in your vaults. Like, you wouldn't be able to interact with vendors. You can open them, of course, because bingo tasks, but you can't actually buy anything from the pedestals. Davey Jones is like looking over you, like they're like, wait a minute, that's my money you're spending there, sir, matey. Vendor room doesn't appear anymore. No, vendor rooms would appear. You could open them, you could look at the pedestals. I actually think that's good, right? You can be like, oh, if only I wasn't in debt, I could purchase stuff. But it would just like, when you try and purchase it, it would say, no, hold, hold. Can you burger if you're in debt? Oh, that's a good point. Maybe also you can't burger. That's a really good point. Maybe you can't actually eat burgers. Should it stop knowledge points as well? You can't eat knowledge stars, you can't burger. No, because knowledge stars are probably fine, because you might need infrastructure to create more crystals, right? So that has a fail safe. But burgers, yeah, you shouldn't be able to burger. That's a really good point. What about bounty XP gain while in debt? Smart. No bounties XP gain. No bounty XP gain. Yeah, clever. So we'd need to have like a feature that says here, you're in debt. Can you get dolls done when in debt? Oh, dolls, that's another aspect that I don't ever think about. Basically, we just freeze your XP bar if in debt, right? We just freeze any and all XP gain. Can you run the boss vault while in debt? Yeah. I think the debt feature is a good feature, especially because if you don't like it, you don't have to interact with it. Yeah, of course. Oh, that's important. Yeah. So you don't have to get in debt. You can also play the game with a backup set and all of these things, right? You don't actually have to get in debt. Yeah, that's important to mention, I think. I think Megalith actually said it best as a response in the dev Discord. She said, this sounds good on paper, but definitely needs some balancing and testing for us to get it right. And I agree. Yeah, no, definitely, as everything. I do think, though, that this is solving an issue in the game that has existed for far too long. And yeah, I think that this is a very good way of doing it. And you know, just the idea of blocking shopping pedestals and saying you're in debt is kind of funny to me. And yeah, I also don't think that it's too punishing. And so I think we've solved it.